Okay, so I think Eshaan wanted to go next. Right.
Yes, sure, Peter. I'll just share my screen. So is my screen visible to you all?
Yes, it is now.
All right. So this week was a quite a productive week for me. First of all, like Peter had assigned me an issue of like introducing resolver composition, which was something that was left from the API time. So I had worked on it, and now I had introduced basically a resolver composition, so that we could use that to remove the redundant checks. Like one check that I removed from all of the resolvers was the check for the current user existing, and now using that I introduced the resolver composition, and it has greatly simplified the API code and helped to reduce the boilerplate. In the future, we can even introduce resolver composition for other redundant checks and hope to make the API more compact and reduce the lines of code that the new contributors have to write. So that was all the changes that I did for the backend. For the front end, there were two primary objectives that I was trying to propose. As you know that the admin UI project had basically introduced this new component of side navigation into the app, which had greatly changed the look and the feel of the app. And the event dashboard which I had created did not support the same. So now, but even if you go on the event dashboard, you are able to reuse the same styles and the same component. I have expanded it to provide all the options for the event management. So you can use that to add a product, as we used to do, show registrants, check-in registrants, and all of the functionality which were I first being accessed by buttons on the side nav are now accessed by these buttons, and they match the style and the overall aesthetic appeal of the app. Moreover, I have added the feature that for every event you get this gets its name and description here displayed on the left hand side, along with a placeholder image for all of them, so that we get a nice look and feel. And all of this side navigation is obviously collapsible, so you can even the users can switch between the two, and it is mobile friendly. You can even log out from here, and you can always see your profile picture and the normal information about yourself. Moreover, the other feature, this is the feature that is stable on my end, and I have opened a PR for it, and it's remained to be merged. The other feature which has been already merged into the repository is the concept of event statistics. Since I had already introduced event feedbacks in the previous PR in the backend, now I am using the same resolvers which I had earlier created to provide a statistic management for the event to the users on the admin panel. So first of all, you get this cool feedback analysis where all the users, like since the users have scored on 1 to 5, they are extrapolated to 1 to 10, because that seemed to be the guideline when I was doing the research for it. And you get this animated chart where you can see how many users have scored your app what, based on on a simple linear scale from 0 to 10. Moreover, as the people have filled their reviews, you can even check what their reviews were, the textual reviews. Like you, as we can see here, 67 people had filled a numeric review, while only 12 of them had filled a text review. So you can see how many stars they rated and what their review was, and you get a small average review score to kind of since this is the only stat that we are collecting, you can see what that is. Moreover, all of these components have been designed in isolation. Like the feedback analysis component is completely isolated from the reviews component, which is completely isolated from the average review score. So these statistics, they need not be only relevant to the event feedback, as and when we more kind of feedbacks to be incorporated and more kind of statistics to be incorporated, they can be designed without any interference from other components into the same. Uh, Moreover, that is the basic change that I had made, and I'll even show you, like for a new event, if there is no, all of these feedbacks have their own kind of their null states, which show a simple UI asking attendees to submit more feedback. And these have been the primary changes that I've made in the front end. And all of these changes, nonetheless, are accompanied by 100% test coverage in both the front end as well as the back end. That is what I've been up to, and in the upcoming weeks, I'm hoping to work on the more on the basically the notification and kind of storing the messages between the if how what the process would look like if a user, if let's say an admin wants to send some messages to the users. So where would we be storing it and how it would look on the back end, that is something that I would be working on in the upcoming weeks.
Okay, thanks. Can you continue sharing your screen? Because I have some comments
Sure.
on this. Right, thanks. All right. There are some inconsistencies that I see. You have in some cases you have 5 stars, and then you're using 10 stars for the statistics, and
This is more of an interpolation because like since in the previous one we had some as you had told me that we want only the users for them to have an ease of access, what they can do is they can submit a score between 0 to 5. Now what I have done is like since these are the review here is from 0 to 5 because that is what users have submitted, and what the backend supports right now is they can either be integral in nature, like let's say 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or they can even be fractional in nature, like they can be 0, 0.5, 1, 1.5. So that is the choice of the when this is a feature that needs to be implemented on the app, so that would be their choice, like how they are requesting the backend. And on the basis of it we are showing the stars here, and this is being extrapolated into 10 because I had read online that most of the feedback statistic components prefer that even if the user is entering on a short scale, we want the results to be displayed to the admin on a longer scale, so they have more fine grained or more granular control over what kind of feedback is there.
yeah, I understand that there's a granularity. It's just that I see where we're going to have an issue, or potential issue, where um, we have tens and fives for the
uh,
for the end user, and if we're uh, for an open source project, then the question is going to be asked all the time, and what that's going to mean is we're going to have some amount of back and forth on it for every single installation that we have. So if we can
True, true.
reduce this to 5, what you're saying is valid for an organization that I think would be more of a using this as a service. Let's just use
Sure, come.
yeah.
Right.
Let's just keep it standard 0 to 5, and then we can work from there. The other thing is that the design that you have for like event management and the calendar and all this other stuff is using the old design system. And I know
uh,
Rishav has
right.
been, Rishav has been working on the various components, and it would really be good if we can get the look and feel to be consistent.
Right. The problem with the same was like only the dashboard component and only the dashboard and the settings component have been migrated to the new look and feel. So
Okay.
like I was waiting for like more of the text centric because these are very card centric components. Once
Right.
the more text centric components like people's and even the events page is moved to the new theme, I would get a more look and feel of how Rishabh is trying to keep the theme, and I'll be able to update. I'll be able to basically update the event dashboard to reflect the same. Since the side navigation had been standardized across all the screens, I thought it would be a good idea to standardize it right now because that is not going to change, right? So I'm just waiting for the Rishabh to update the other screens, and in response to that, I'll update the event management screens as well.
Yeah, that's going to be really important. Uh, and what I'm seeing here is a great improvement over what we had before. So don't take this as a bad criticism. It's more constructive,
Sure, sir.
right?
Totally, sir.
So if we can get that, it would be really fantastic. I like what I'm seeing here. This is good, and I think we can get some of this working really well. Does anybody else have any questions or comments on this? I think some of the layout and the design things we can work on a little later on once, but I think what we have here is good to start with. Um, hmm, it might be worthwhile, Eshaan, for the two of us just to go over this in a little more detail. Like, for example, we have like ways in which you can make like the event management and the event projects layout better. But that, I mean, we could do that, but then that would undermine some of the design elements and design thoughts of Rishav. So let's see what Rishav comes up with. I think he's on the call, and then we can work from there. But this is a good starting point. Well, it's not even a starting point. We're almost near the end of the whole thing. So this is really good. All right, thanks a lot. Any questions from
Thank you,
anybody
sir.
else?